This week on Alaska's Fishing Paradise, we head out to fish the salt of the Chatham Strait. These Whalers Cove guests are in pursuit of halibut and salmon, but find themselves hooking into some other species as well. Great fishing, good laughs, and some new memories are in store this week on Alaska's Fishing Paradise. Alaska's Fishing Paradise is brought to you by Blue Goo, eliminate fog and static, safe for all plastics and lenses. The Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, ensuring the future of wildlife and their habitat. And Whalers Cove, Wilderness and Sports Fishing Lodge. Like every morning at Whalers Cove, the saltwater adventures begin by gathering fresh bait. Southern California radio talk show host Pete Gray is anxious to get in on the action.
You know, one thing that's unique about Whalers Cove here is that we're actually catching our own bait. Most places I've been to use frozen herring.
The crew starts pulling in herring, and deckhand Brittany Alsop explains which variety of bait fish are ideal.
These are perfect size for salmon. The salmon stay on the hook better if the fish are smaller, and they twirl a lot better. The bigger ones are better for halibut.
The whales put on a show as they bubble feed and breach near the Providence.
It's a little bit wavy out here right now, so we're gonna go try to get our halibut down in Chayik Bay.
After the brief jaunt south, the anglers set up in anticipation of a good halibut bite.
Then when we get to the bottom, we jig it up and down, and a lot of times I'll eat it on the fall, or sometimes when you're pulling it up, they'll bite it and you feel it, and then you start reeling.
Holy boy.
It doesn't take long before Lolly, Pete's wife, hooks into what seems to be a good fish.
After all this, it better be big.
Lolly doesn't give in and is determined to win this battle. Little does she know that she is hooked into not one, but two legal Alaskan halibut.
Woohoo, 2 for 1. A daily double.
Good one.
Caught 2 at a time. We're gonna throw this second one back. Live to die another day.
So, Captain, why did you have to throw my other fish out? Back.
Well, in the state of Alaska, you can't party fish, so that means you can't catch someone else's limit. So once you have your limit, which we took that one fish, and then we have to throw the second one back.
Oh, because I'm only allowed 1 fish a day.
Right.
Oh, now I get it.
The limit is for southeast 1 fish a day, 45 inches or under, or 68 inches and over.
Okay.
Both of those fit the slot that we're looking for, but you're only allowed 1 at this time.
So I can't catch Pete's fish.
No.
Pete, you have to catch your own fish.
Oh. 7.
Shortly after celebrating Lolly's amazing catch, it's guest Bob Byram's turn at the reel. Like clockwork, Pete follows in Bob's footsteps with a halibut that might not make Alaska's slot limit.
It's a halibut, but he might be a little too big. So the captain's gonna kind of just get him in the mouth there, and then he's gonna put a measurement on him, make sure he's 45 inches or less. If he's 45 inches or less, we're gonna keep him and eat him.
Captain Jonathan and deckhand Brittany grab the measuring tape as Pete anxiously awaits to find out if the fish is a keeper.
Yeah, 44.
Bye.
Yeah, he makes it 44 inches.
Machinist Ken Carpenter is not left out of the action as yet another halibut finds its fresh herring. Deckhand Brittany embraces the catch with a ritual of her own.
So I can't dance a fish dance, so I kiss them for luck.
All right. Then we opted to go try and find some salmon again as the day went on. We dropped Lolly off, my wife off at the lodge here, which is one of the nice options you have because you're fishing really, really close to the lodge, no matter where you are here at Whalers.
With Lolly back at the lodge enjoying a little rest and relaxation, the remaining crew heads back out in search of salmon. After briefly trolling for salmon, stomachs begin to rumble, and the crew decides to pack it in and head back to the lodge for a bite to eat.
Well, we're calling it a day. Salmon worked very cooperative with us today.
They get back to the dock and share today's catch and stories with one another. Bob Byram recaps the day best with a quote from a famous author.
Men go fishing all their lives and don't realize it isn't a fish they're at.
Okay.
Henry David Thoreau. And of course what he was inferring was it's the experience.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Coming up on Alaska's Fishing Paradise, we'll head out with some new guests of Whalers Cove Lodge on a saltwater adventure that will be remembered for years to come. Stay tuned for more after this. Welcome back to Alaska's Fishing Paradise. Before we jump back into the action, let's join deckhand Brittany Alsop on this week's segment of Straight Talk.
So for this segment of Straight Talk, we're going to be talking about reel maintenance. We start off with the clicker button here. And the clicker is, if you were to set your rod in the holder and a big fish would get on, you could hear it click. And so we put some oil right here. And I work it back and forth. Then we move over here, and there's some buttons. This button is for the strike. So if you were to get a big fish or something accidental like a whale, which we had a hookup one time, you could move it up here and it would just make it so that the line couldn't strip out. And then this is for free spool. We just want to work it into the cracks. Then over here, this is the drag, where it moves up and down to go from free spool and the drag button. Then right here, these reels are accurate reels and they're 2-speed. High gear is kind of harder to reel, but it's a lot faster, and low gear is easier but slower. And this is the button that puts it into high gear, and that puts it into low gear. And you just want to work that back and forth. Then we want to put some oil right here on the reel and in here. And spin it around. So that's how you do the reel maintenance, and which is very important to keep your equipment in good condition so that it'll last a lifetime.
Each week at Whalers Cove Lodge, new guests arrive in Southeast Alaska from all over the world. As they partake in an afternoon dinner and unpack their bags, guests are always eager to learn what their stay might bring. For Jody and Wendy Wittenberg, a day of self-guided fishing is on the checklist. But first, they must get acclimated to the boat, area, and fishing techniques with Captain Bob Tardy aboard the Laura May. Like every other saltwater day, they start by catching herring that will be later used as bait to catch various trophy fish. Wendy has made fishing a part of her lifestyle and has chosen to embrace adventure here in Alaska rather than a warmer alternative.
So it's our 10-year anniversary, and we wanted to go somewhere really, fun and someplace we've never been to. And so our choices were go to Hawaii or go to Alaska and go fishing. And it was a no-brainer, especially after watching Whalers Cove video on television, that we wanted to come to Alaska because we love to fish. And it's just, we've never been here, and it's just such beautiful scenery, and know, it's just been a dream. So we're very happy, and yeah, I don't want to go to Hawaii.
After catching their bait, Captain Bob Tardy drops anchor in a spot that he hopes will produce some great action. They set up to vertically jig using a combination of herring and assorted plastic baits.
Did you get something?
Yeah, something little.
It doesn't take long before Jody has something on the other end of his line.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Arrow tooth flounder.
It's a flounder?
Oh.
And we're going to use him for bait.
I'd eat that.
No sooner than Jody's bait hits the bottom, and he's on yet another fish that puts up more of a fight.
That's what we're looking for. Here he comes. Okay, now don't bring his head above the water. It looks like a keeper.
Nice.
Back up a little bit. What do we do? Back up. Let me get this.
This halibut is good sized, so Captain Bob measures it to ensure that it makes the slot limit.
That is the perfect fish.
Nice.
Nice. Woohoo!
My arm hurts. This is beautiful. It's the biggest fish I've ever caught. This is my very first halibut. Thank you, Captain Bob.
At 600 feet.
At 600 feet.
Now it's Wendy's turn as she sets the hook on a species that doesn't seem to put up as much of a fight.
Thought I was hung up, but Captain Bob says, no, you're hung up on a fish. So,
It's an octopus!
no way. Oh my goodness. Well,
Okay, coming aboard.
he did. What did he said? It was probably an octopus. Well, I have never caught an octopus in my life. Oh my goodness. Hello. Look at all that meat.
Yes,
Yummy calamari.
very nice.
Right on. Jody,
Yes.
can you beat that?
I don't think so.
Coming up on Alaska's Fishing Paradise, Jody and Wendy continue to find and reel in a smorgasbord of fish. The couple meets a new milestone in their saltwater career as they continue landing fish after fish. Welcome back. Whalers Cove guests Jody and Wendy Wittenberg are keeping busy on a tailored outing with Captain Bob Tardy. They're hoping to get out later in the week to do some self-guided fishing, but first want to learn the ropes from Captain Bob. This couple is vertically jigging in hopes of luring halibut and black cod. But instead, Wendy finds herself hooked up on a Picasso fish.
They call him Picasso or salmon grouper.
It's got a big old thing.
Well,
Oh, his air blew up.
That's the air bladder.
The air bladder, that's right. I popped his eyes out.
He'll keep an eye out for you too.
Okay, so that's rockfish.
You wanna hold on to that?
First rockfish ever. Ooh, that's nice.
I got a little one for you here, Captain.
Yeah, squids I'll get.
Soon after, Jody pulls in what is known as a China rockfish, his first one ever.
It's a China rockfish.
Okay.
Similar to yellow eye.
Jody continues his success with an arrow-tooth flounder.
More bait.
Another flounder.
Another flounder?
I'm the flounder pounder.
Some tugging occasionally.
Yeah, he gives it like right there. He's tug, 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 tug.
The third time is also a charm, as Jody hooks into what seems to be a great fish.
We got
It's a
enough.
big flounder. That's what this one is.
No flounders, no rockfish.
Whoa, let's take the black cod. Take it easy, take it easy.
As the black cod surfaces, he doesn't give up without a fight, as Captain Bob tries to pull him in.
Holy! Oh my God! Look at that!
He'll do for today.
My first black cod.
Wow!
Way to go.
Yoo-hoo.
Nice.
Is that a good size one?
Yes. This
Good.
is a very nice one. This is one of the biggest ones I've seen.
Holy moly. Wow, look at that, Jode.
Look at that.
Congratulations.
Hello, black cod.
Oh.
Jody and Wendy embrace the catch and capture the moment so it can be shared for years to come. While enjoying their day on the water, a group of seals come over to visit in hopes of finding food. Coming up on Alaska's fishing paradise, Wendy's strength and determination are tested as she attempts to land a great rockfish. And later, Jody and Wendy try their luck at trolling in search of salmon and some more fishing memories. Alaska's fishing paradise is brought to you by Blue Goo. Eliminate fog and static. Safe for all plastics and lenses. The Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, ensuring the future of wildlife and their habitat. And Whalers Cove, Wilderness and Sports Fishing Lodge. Welcome back to Alaska's fishing paradise. Jody and Wendy from Oregon are back at it. Wendy finds herself a great fish that challenges her strength and determination as she reels it in from 600 feet.
Hurts because my arms are tired.
Get a lot in order.
Hold that down.
Captain Bob and even Jody help her out as she continues the fight. With hopes of a halibut coming to the surface, Wendy is surprised when a great rockfish emerges from the depths.
Look at that poor thing.
That looks disgusting. I'm sorry.
Captain Bob decides it's time for a change of pace, so they reel in their bait and head out to the next spot.
Wendy and I are going out self-guided tomorrow, so Captain Bob's showing us the ropes on salmon fishing.
Yes. We're gonna catch ourselves some salmon here real quickly, aren't we? Our first time catching salmon, so.
The downriggers are set in hopes that the mighty king salmon will find their bait. Jody grabs the first hookup and begins to do battle. Wendy helps out by cranking the downrigger while Jody continues to fight. Upon landing the fish, Captain Bob determines it's not of legal size and releases it.
Well, we got one shaker. The reason we let that go is because he was less than 28 inches.
The lines are baited again as they try for a bigger, legal king salmon. It's Wendy's turn as she hooks into another king salmon, her first.
Oh yeah, that's a
It
fish.
won't even let me reel it.
That's good.
The fish gets Wendy's blood pumping as it puts up a good fight.
I got about 25 feet to go. All right, back up a little bit. Got it. Yeah!
Make sure he's on. You got your net. Step back.
Wow. It's nice though.
Captain Bob pulls in the salmon, and again, it comes up short of the legal limit.
Well, it was almost a keeper.
Very close.
That's my first salmon ever. They're not as hard as
Well, good job.
Good job,
Well,
guys. Thanks for the
now,
support.
now you have a taste of it anyway.
Yeah,
Yep.
now we know.
You know what
We've
it's
caught
about.
everything. We know what it's like. Exactly.
We're
So
happy.
We can
Good.
go out
Good.
tomorrow and
That's the
Feel
name of the
confident
game.
about going fishing on our own?
Oh yeah.
kick butt.
You guys will do well.
Oh,
As they
thanks.
return the fish to sea, they decide to call it a day. After the great day of guided fishing, Jody and Wendy will set out tomorrow alone, in hopes that their luck will continue.
We had a great day out today, and as far as we're concerned, the fishing was good. And,
Guiding was good.
We
The
got a lot of lessons from Captain Bob, and great people here so far. I'm about ready to go up and have some dinner, relax, change our clothes,
Get
ready
some
for
sleep
tomorrow.
and go out tomorrow. Do it all over again.
Like everyone, Jody and Wendy hang their fish and pose for a picture to remember the good times had on today's saltwater adventure. It's the end of a successful day of fishing. So let's go see what Chef Jack Wentz is cooking up on this week's edition of Chef's Corner.
Welcome back to another edition of Chef's Corner. I'm Jack Wentz, and I'm going to take you through one of our house specialties today, halibut salad. We want to start with some nicely poached halibut, and the reason we poach the halibut is so that it retains a little bit of its flavor, and you want to just kind of break it up lightly by hand, making sure not to mash it too much. Now that we've broken up our halibut, we want to add a little bit of onion and some celery and some fresh mayonnaise. Not too much, we're not trying to coat it, we just want to make it a little, so it'll bind a little bit. We want to toss this lightly. Okay, now we want to finish it with a little bit of fresh lemon. And some of our house salt. I personally prefer a toasted sourdough baguette with some fresh tomatoes to finish this dish off. And we just put the nice spread on top. We're going to complement this with some nice chips. And there you have it, folks. Halibut salad, Whalers Cove style.
We like you, so like us on our Facebook page. And be sure to visit our website at whalerscovelodge.com.